So you get this idea, this amazing idea. Maybe it's a new project, a business, or even like this commitment to finally get in shape. You're fired up, right? Until that little voice sneaks in and says something like, who do you think you are? You're gonna do that, you're gonna fail, don't even try. And if this sounds familiar, it's because there's like this nonstop commentary in our heads. And I think most of us don't even realize it's not just one voice. Inside you, think of a higher self and then a lower self, and they're constantly pulling you in different directions. The higher self, that's the voice of wisdom, purpose, big picture thinking. It's the part of you that dreams, plans, and knows your worth. And then the lower self, well, that's primitive. It's wired just for survival. It's obsessed with staying comfortable, with avoiding pain and clinging to what's familiar. And when it speaks, it sounds like our worst critic. Doubt, fear, and just excuses come our way. And I think if we unpack this for a second, we can look at psychology going all the way back to Freud. He talks about the id, the ego, the superego. And the id is basically that raw, instinctual part of the brain that wants what it wants right now. It's no delays, no pain, just pleasure and comfort. That's what it seeks. And your higher self is more like the part of you that can plan ahead, that can understand consequences and align with like our deeper values. In Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul, he also dives into this idea. He says that the voice in our head is not you. I think if we let that sink in for a moment, if we can observe a voice, if we can hear it, that means you're something separate from that. You can see your thoughts go by like clouds, and you're the one actually watching them, not the thoughts themselves. That's a game changer because it means you're not forced to obey every little anxious or negative whisper that pops up. Now, just to clarify something here, when I say lower self and higher self, it's not just about good versus evil. It's just so recognizing that the amygdala, the part of the brain that wants to avoid pain and seek comfort, is real. And this is a big realization for most people. Like, we don't have to listen to that voice. We have a choice. That voice, the lower self, it's not out to help you grow. It's out to keep you comfortable and safe. Here, let me give you an analogy that I think might hit home. So imagine that you're on a road trip. Your higher self is the driver, the one with a map, a goal, maybe a dream, a destination in mind. So you could be starting a new business, you could be writing a book, maybe training for a marathon. Well, your lower self is this nervous passenger. So they're riding shotgun and they're constantly saying, no, don't go down that road. So it's unfamiliar. What if there's traffic? They're saying, what if we run out of gas? And they might even say, hey, we're fine right here. Just stop the car. There's really no need to continue, right? This lower self never wants us to take the scenic route or try something new. It just wants to stay parked in our car. And if we are gonna drive, just take the predictable route there. And then here's where it gets really tricky. The lower self doesn't just hold you back from taking action. It also loves to tear you down once you even think of trying something new. It's a voice that says, you're not good enough. You're going to embarrass yourself. Why even try this? It's saying those things with the best intentions, or so it thinks, to keep you safe. Think of it like the crabs in a bucket analogy. If one crab tries to climb out, the other ones, they just pull it back down. So your lower self is gonna act like those other crabs. It's gonna pull you back to the status quo, to your comfort zone. It doesn't want you to realize your potential. But guess what? We can step out of that comfort zone. And I think the first key is just awareness. Once we recognize that this negative chatter is just one voice, not our truest self, not our high self, we gain a sense of power. We can acknowledge it without letting it run the show. Oh, that's just my lower self. It's freaking out again. It's trying to keep me small. So I think the next step is then understanding that what we focus on expands. If we constantly give our energy and attention to that inner critic, we're gonna feel stuck. But if we start listening to our higher self more often, the voice that might say, hey, this might be tough, but it's gonna be worth it. You can do it. You have what it takes. Even if you fail, we're gonna learn something. Then we begin to strengthen that mental muscle. Neuroplasticity tells us that our brains can be rewired, that the pathways we use most, they actually grow stronger. So if every time we face a challenge, we just start shifting our attention away from the critic and towards the voice of courage and freedom and confidence and growth, well, we literally reshape our brain's wiring over time. And yes, this takes practice, It's not just like flipping a switch, but the effort, man, it is worth it. So each time we catch ourselves spiraling into this self-criticism, please just pause and just think, is this my higher self or lower self making this comment, right? Our higher self is never gonna tear us down without a reason. It might say, man, this is gonna be challenging and we're gonna need to prepare, but it's never gonna say you're worthless or incapable. It's always forward thinking, it's not relying on the past. And it's also worth noting that sometimes lower self will disguise itself as being realistic. It's gonna say, why start a new company? You've got a ton of money and you have all this comfort already. Don't risk it. But I think deep down, our higher self knows that we're here to grow, to contribute. We're here to explore the world, to impact the world. Maybe you have a calling. Maybe you want to serve others with a new idea, a new product, or a new approach. The lower self doesn't care about impact or meaning, it cares about status quo. And over time, as you lean into your higher self, you're gonna find that old voice losing power. It might still show up, but it's not gonna derail you. You'll keep expanding, you'll keep trying new things and stepping into bigger visions for your life. And I think that's the real freedom. Knowing you're the observer and the chooser, and not just a puppet. So today, here's a challenge. Just notice when that critic shows up, that lower self. Notice when it's trying to take over the conversation, and then just choose to consciously listen to the higher self instead. Refuse to give it that power, because we have that ability to change our relationship with our own mind. And trust me, this changes the game. Suddenly you're not scared of what your mind's gonna say because you know that you can handle it. You can outsmart it, you can outgrow it, you can outlove it. So go, start today, pay attention, and speak back to that voice.